Well, it's 9:33 right now, and I'll get started. Good morning, and welcome to the webinar. And Cornerstone is proud to present HealthSherpa training today. But as we dive into this, I'm going to do some housekeeping, and you guys have been on these before. You know the drill. Questions, very important. Your questions are what drives this conversation, this dialogue. Put them in the question box. We'll answer them actually throughout the presentation. So I want your questions, I want your input, I want your wants and desires at a Sherpa, and how this technology impacts you and can help you leverage more business. We're the dynamic duo of the individual market here in Ohio. I'm Jeff Beglin, the business development manager here at Cornerstone. This is my 20th year. Okay, 20 years in the saddle here. And my partner, Carla, also has more than a decade of service here at Cornerstone. And we're delighted to assist you in everything and anything you need for the individual market. And I am involved in more of the product strategy, product explanation, all the different markets that we have, getting you appointed with Sandy Weber, our licensing guru, and getting you certified. And Carla is our individual specialist. She's a back office expert in terms of claims and billing issues, and we do a lot of things together. We kind of tag team on a lot of problems. So she and I are involved in a lot of your questions. So her email, individual@crnstone.com. Okay. And front and center, guys, May 6th, this is the show. Centerville, Ohio. That's Dayton, Ohio, South Dayton. It's the one and only broker expo for individual. And we can type expo in the question link, not the chat link, because the chat link doesn't work too well, but type expo in the question link and I'll get you a registration. If you are also inclined, you can go on our website and there's a link to that spot for the expo. Our website, crnstone.com, and it's really important. If you enter now, we'll put your name in a raffle for 1 CE hour. Okay, so you'll get a voucher for 1 hour of CE if you register now, and that registration ends on April 8th. If you've already registered, your name is already in the hopper for that CE voucher, and you have until April 8th at 5 p.m. to enter for that CE credit voucher. So we hope you can do that. And again, go out to our website, crnstone.com, click on the link for the expo, and we're going to have so much fun. I just talked to Mel here. We're looking at maybe bringing HealthSherpa up there. Haven't finalized that, but we're going to have a array of fine vendors and specialists, and the focus is going to be on ICHRA, and with our wonderful associate, Lael Reitler, giving us all the ins and outs of ICHRA. She's actually going to be doing a CE as well. So that's 1 hour CE for the ICHRA program. So much to talk about and explain up there at the expo. It's going to be at the beautiful Yankee Trace Golf Course up there in Centerville. And enough of me flapping my jaws, and I will toss things over to Mel. Mary Lee, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for chiming in.
Hi.
We can get started here. How do we do this? I need to stop sharing. I like to share, as we all know. But take it away, Mel. And Mel, if you wouldn't mind, give us a little background on you and
Of course.
And get us started.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Meladies. You could definitely call me Mel. It's a lot easier. I am located in Miami, Florida. I've been in the AC industry pretty much ever since it started for the past 14 years. I worked with agencies, carriers. I've done from supplemental to Medicare, to group, everything you could possibly think within that industry, I've been there. So feel free to use me for any questions, concerns, anything that you might want to pick my brain. With HealthSherpa, I've been with them for 3 years now. I am an agency account manager. Pretty much, I am the agency account manager here for Cornerstone. So I will be working with Jeffrey very closely to make sure that you as agents have our full support. With that being said, what we will go over today is some basics on the platform. We'll go over quoting. We'll talk about your clients page, also your leads. We'll take a little bit of time within the marketing tab. Also, something that I will like to share with you will be that carrier selection. And then we will also take a few moments to go over a quoting and how to pull a consumer that you have done either through Healthcare.gov or through a different platform. It's very important that you all understand that you cannot do your applications through Healthcare.gov. Okay, you do need to use either HealthSherpa or anything else. All right, it's very important just for compliant purposes. But let me go ahead and stop my camera, share my screen, and then let me know if you are able to see it. Are you able to see my screen?
It just has your initials. Something happened. Something happened.
Let me know. It says it's sharing. Let me stop.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, it pop up? Okay.
Hot second. It
so
popped
there's
up.
a little delay. It's probably
Okay.
on my end. Don't worry.
For a hot second, it popped up.
Okay, perfect. Let me know once you're able to see it. Feel free to use the Q&A throughout our training. Again, anything you need to ask, or if there's something that you maybe didn't understand, please feel free to share through the Q&A
I think we're in business. I see a client screen. Earth Agency
Okay,
clients.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome.
Okay, is any chance you could blow that up a little bit?
Of course. Let me see.
Okay. My 60-year-old eyes don't
Don't
focus
worry.
that well.
I'm 36 and I'm using glasses since I was in middle school. So don't don't say it's an age thing. It's just me. Let me know if that it's better.
Yeah, it's better.
You want me to blow it up a little bit more?
A little bit, yeah. You know, I think it's.
Let me know.
Guys, let us know what you think. Throw something in the Q&A if you're having an issue. I think that's doable.
That's doable. You're good?
I think that's doable.
All right, awesome. So I'm assuming most of you already have your HealthSherpa account. When you log in as an agent, you will have your welcome homepage. Your welcome homepage, if you notice, it's a little bit different. We add a few features on there. We have our newsletter, anything you need to know for training. It's very, very helpful. We do have training all month long. We have pre-recorded trainings available as well. You have your FFM account integration clock. Also, you have your plan year enrollment. It'll tell you submissions by date and it'll compare your plan year to the year before. You also have our amazing agent support team available for you. You either have their phone number, their email, or you could do that live chat feature. You have our certification center. We do offer some free CE credits available in some states, so definitely use that feature. And then if you do Medicare, we also have a Medicare platform that you can utilize. Both of our platforms are completely free and are accessible to you. Your clients page is where you are going to see all your consumers that are currently enrolled in a plan. This is where you have all your clients. You can filter by carrier, state, also by pending documents and plan year. At the bottom, you are going to see what that client overview looks like. You have their plan, their gross, their effective date, the date it was created, and then if they have action needed, that's probably due to documentation. Also, you have unpaid binders. We do not connect directly with the carriers for payments. However, we added this little feature where it says refresh, and it will tell you the most accurate information we have per CMS, right? So it'll tell you as of today, and you could always refresh and it'll say as of the date that was
Yeah. If you mind, I'm going to jump in here. As a feature last OEP, certainly a lot of agents and clients are using Sherpa to make that binder payment.
Yeah.
So tell me the status of that, where we are with Sherpa's ability to make a binder payment.
For binder payments, once you click on the client's page, you have their details. Sorry, it's taking a little bit longer than expected. So for the binder payment, it's going to tell you the status. You are able, where it says action, if it's before their deadline, you are able to click on a pay button that you have here, and it will redirect you to that carrier. There are some
okay.
Yeah, they are some carriers like Oscar that you could do that one-time payment. If it's after the due date, then you do get that contact information for the carrier. So that payment button allows you to go to that carrier directly. There are some carriers that require the consumer to create an account. There are other carriers that they could just take that one-time payment, or you could do constant, that payment through that link. That would be the payment binder piece. A new feature that we added under follow-ups will be documents. You are able to collect documents for the consumers through the platform. All you have to do is click where it says collect documents. They will have a pre-filled email already with the consumer's information. It'll say submit proof of and the deadline. And you could send this over to the consumer, or you could copy the link. Right here, we don't have a link because they don't need documentation. It's only payment.
Okay, can I jump in real quick?
Of course.
Documents are so vital, particularly in this day and age when, during SCP, the government's making it tougher. DMI and in particular, having the right documents. Will Sherpa identify whether or not you've got the right document, or you need a specific type of document for loss of coverage?
Correct.
You just can't scribble something on a piece of paper.
Correct. So what we have on every piece of our follow-ups, depending on what document it is, this one right here is a loss of coverage, where you see action says verify. When you click on verify, regardless of what document it is, towards the bottom of the page, let it sink there for a second. Sorry for the delay. Once you scroll down, it's going to have this little acceptable documents to verify proof of coverage. Once you click on view list, it gives you all the documents that are acceptable per CMS. Right? You could scroll down. It'll tell you, depending if it's income verification, immigration status, citizenship, what type of document the consumer needs to submit. This you could always copy and put in an email if you like for the consumer to make it easier for them. Maybe not give them so many options. Sometimes consumers tend to just, surpass it. Nothing crazy. But definitely this is a piece that you could use, especially for that loss of coverage or any other type of documentation that you need. Here you could select the document from your file. If the consumer sent you a document, it would be here as well if you saved it into the platform. So you could always save it onto the consumer's dashboard, and you could upload it from there as well. Once it's submitted within the client's information page, right here, it'll say submitted. Once it's completed, it'll change to completed. If more documentation is required per CMS, then we will notify you as well. Towards the bottom, you have the application piece. It'll show you the year of the application, who is the applicant, the contact information, and the agent details. Towards the bottom, you will have that plan year information, full details, summary of benefits, and then you have exchange data and Premier partner data. Premier partner is partners that have connected with us directly. So we do have a few on board, such as Oscar, that will give you real-time information for that consumer application. And then you have exchange data. This is the information we have received directly from CMS. It'll say who is the agent of record, the application ID. Also, policy ID and subscriber ID are not going to be your best friend just because this is information that the carrier holds. Also, you have the enrollment piece. You could retrieve that 1095A form. If you ever do need to help the consumer retrieve that information, you could do that.
Why would a
Yes.
consumer need a 1095A form?
The 1095A form, it's specifically for tax purposes. There's a lot of consumers, CMS tends to take a little longer because it is by mail to send that 1095A form for the consumers to complete their tax documentation.
If I have an off-exchange plan, will I get a 1095A?
Correct, yes.
I don't think so. I just wanted to clarify something, and I think I was a trick question. So 1095A has to do with the subsidized, the on-exchange platform. Okay, so absolutely, that's where you'll go, you know, if you're getting a subsidy. Now, if you're 1095 B,
yeah,
it's not required
correct
to submit because it's off exchange, it's private exchange, just private insurance.
Correct.
And
It's
in some,
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, it's there is situations where your clients can have an off exchange. HealthSherpa does offer off exchange. You can see, up the upper right hand corner, they have a toggle. I just want to point of emphasis, there's a difference between 1095A and 1095B, 1095C. So your 1095A is required. 1095B, the carriers aren't even going to provide it. Hopefully that helped. Yeah, sorry for the trick question.
No, you're good. So the 1095A, like mentioned, it's for subsidized plans. The 1095B, it's for off exchange, meaning they don't receive subsidy. Like you mentioned, some carriers do not bother sending that over, usually the consumer if they want it. And then you have the 1095C. Again, the 1095A, it's the one that if you have consumers that are subsidized, if they haven't received it by the time they're doing their taxes, they'll probably reach out and let you know, like, hey, I'm interested, let me know. Then you have your marketplace notices. Every time the marketplace sends a notice to the consumer, you will receive a notification of that notice, eligibility determination, or any follow-ups required. The reason we have this, it's because a lot of consumers tend to call you as their broker and they're like, hey, I received a letter from CMS. When you ask them what the letter says, they tend to say, oh, I don't know, I didn't read it, I threw it away, I lost it, etc. So we try to provide you as much as information. Another new feature that we added this past OEP, you have your provider prescriptions available here. If you add them through your quoting process, once the application is completed, it will be saved for you here. Therefore, for the following year, or if you have an SAP and you have to redo a quote, you'll have that information already saved. Important consent piece. Consent is mandatory for CMS for you to keep for 10 years. CMS could turn around and say, hey, I want a consent for X consumer from 3 years ago. You do need to have that. Here with HealthSherpa, we have added the text messaging feature. Also, you could email it. We do have it in a PDF format available as well that you could utilize. You could upload it to the platform while you're doing the application or at a later time. If you do send it to the consumer via email or text, you could always resend it. Also, you do have the ability to upload recording. That's something that not a lot of agents or agencies are aware because they don't see it. It's a very fine print, but you are able to upload recording as well. If you want to upload the consent at a later time, you could just come here to the consent and click where it says upload consent. I'll say plan year, initial consent or enrollment review, and then you can upload file. Okay. Now, any questions on the client's dashboard? Anything else you'd like to add, Jeff?
This is your opportunity to provide some feedback, some input. One thing about Sherpa is they're so receptive to agents. There are things that you guys have mentioned that I've called Sherpa about, and they have added. Okay, they are really receptive to our input, and they're great about that. They're obviously the number one platform for enrolling clients. The majority of what's sold on the FFM, if I'm not mistaken,
Correct.
is through
Yes.
HealthSherpa.
Yes,
Okay.
we are currently still the number one platform. I think we have enrolled over 15 million consumers through our
15
platform.
million, guys. 15 million.
Over 15 million on our platform. And like you were mentioning, we are very receptive to feedback. It's very important for us to understand what you need as an agent, as well as an agency, for us to be able to add it to our product. And then for you as an agent to have all that information available, right? If your job is harder, then it's harder for you to go out there and assist consumers, right? We want to make it as easy as possible. Moving on, you have a leads tab. Leads, it's primarily for when you have quoted a consumer or used your marketing link. Consumers that have yet to complete their application, this is where you are going to find them. You could also filter by carrier, state, and statuses. And then we have that exchange piece on or off exchange as well, as previously mentioned. If you need to import leads, let's say that you have your own list, anything like that, you could always import right here where it says import, download the CSV template. I always say CVS, but you could download the CSV template and upload that information, right? So here you would see the consumer, you'll see the consumer, the plan they have selected, what is the net, the last active, and then what is the status. Under actions, you could click resume and it will take you directly to where you ended or the consumer ended within that application itself, okay? Moving on to the marketing tab. Every account comes with a marketing link. The marketing link comes embedded with your name and NPN. You also have a neat QR code that you could utilize. You could download it, use it on a pamphlet, use it for your office. The consumer could actually quote and enroll themselves, and you would still be the agent of record. You have a branding piece that will have your company name or your agent name. A company phone number, make sure this is a valid phone number. The reason being, if a consumer gets stuck, this is the phone number they are going to see. Therefore, they're going to need to reach out to you. You could upload your own photo, or you could use any of the ones we have in stock. You could also upload your agency logo if you have one, and you have different color palettes that you could choose from. Okay, once you're done, you just click on save and it will automatically save for you. All of that, it's within that marketing piece. Also, consent, you have a consent library. Instead of searching consumer by consumer, you could just come in here and enter their name or email. Or also, if you have collected the consent and you just want to add it, you just click on collect consent. You have enter the information for the consumer. You can email it, text, or upload it. Also, you could select the language of the consent, English or Spanish. Any questions so far before we jump into quoting? Nope. Okay, awesome. Oh, wait, let me see. I see one Q&A. No. Okay.
Great opportunity, folks.
All right. So let's go ahead and go to a quote. To quote, you're going to click to your top right where it says quote on exchange. If you need to do an off exchange medical, you definitely can. Unfortunately, we won't have the same features and filters that we have for the on exchange piece. The reason is because for off exchange, we don't show all the carriers for off exchange because as an external feature, they do need to purchase to be part of HealthSherpa. And so we're going to go ahead and click where it says quote on exchange. You are going to enter the zip code for the consumer. Can you provide me a zip code for Ohio that you would like to use?
45206.
45206. Perfect. You would enter the household members who is applying for coverage. You could do date of birth or age. The reason we added the age piece is because usually spouses call in trying to do a quote and they do not know the date of birth of their children or their spouse. It happens to my husband all the time. So here you have that piece. If you notice, you do have a question bubble in certain areas. If you're not sure what that is, you could always hover over it or click on it and it will give you a quick overview of that section. Also, where you have the little underline, if you hover over it or click on it, it's going to tell you what is the meaning of that as well. So we're going to go ahead and enter an income. If you notice, it'll tell you an estimated eligibility. So let's go up a little bit. We're still not there. There we go. Once you enter the household income for the consumer, if they do qualify, you'll have an estimated eligibility subsidy. I'll tell you the amount if it's part of a CSR. And then if you scroll down, it'll show you all the plans available in that area. Be advised that it'll show you all the carriers, whether you are or not appointed. If you notice here, you could add providers, you could add prescriptions. Also, you could filter by carriers. If you want to focus on a specific carrier, you could do that. Also, if you're looking for a specific metal tier, you could filter as well. Once those filters are added, we went down to 19 plans. Every plan already gives you a quick bird eye view of the benefits for that plan. It'll have the formulary, the provider directory, and the benefits, and then plan details. Every plan has a compare box. You could compare up to 5 plans side by side. If you notice at the bottom, it's letting you know once you hit compare for the 3 plans, you'll have a side-by-side view of each of those plans. It would include, again, that bird eye view of the plan benefits, and then it will also have the resources per plan and per carrier.
Can I add something, Mel?
Yes.
You know, guys, as much as Sherpa tries to help out with hospital lookups, we have to realize they're getting their feed from the FFM. And looking at hospitals isn't the best way is to go down to one of those links at the bottom that she was showing you and actually go on
The carrier.
the carrier sites. Okay. I know on the left side of the screen, Sherpa might have some recommendations for hospitals and whatnot, but you really need to know to go to the provider and plan details to get information about providers and drugs. Okay, and go to the actual carrier sites. Okay, so Oscar's a good example. Okay, you see the provider list, that's where you want to go. Okay.
It'll populate for you, and then
Yeah.
you could search by provider, and then also hear the phone number.
There's no bigger frustration point than the carrier's information being different than the FFM's information.
Correct.
And that's on the carriers, but again, at the end of the day, they're going to be the ones deeming something in network or out of network. So we always emphasize go directly to the horse's mouth. That's the carrier.
So once you're done, you could just go back, right? And then something that you could do here, you have a share button to your top right corner. And you could actually share this information with the consumer directly. You could enter their email address, or you could actually just copy the link. Where it says allow clients to view and quote without login, this, you could click on that. The consumer tends to have a consumer account with HealthSherpa. A lot of agents are not aware. However, a consumer can create a consumer account with HealthSherpa and they are able to view their actual application. If they need to reach out to you, I'll have your information as well. If you don't want them to go through that process, just click on that little checkbox where it says allow without logging in. Okay. Also at the bottom, you could enter, your own subject line as well as your own messaging if you want to make it a little bit more personal. Once you're done, you just hit share and the consumer will receive this piece. If a consumer decides to add to cart and continue with the application, you would still be the agent of record because it's going with your name and NPN already. Again, to receive compensation, you have to have an active license, be certified with the marketplace, as well as be appointed with the carrier. So we're going to go ahead and start an application so you can see what that will look like. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. There we go. Okay. So you receive consent from the consumer. Again, you have that downloadable consent form. If you want to include their plan year application for 2025, you could do so. But since this is a new consumer, we're just going to search marketplace. If a consumer is existing in the marketplace, it's going to populate for you at the bottom. If it's not, it's going to say create a new application. We'll go back to this later on so we could see how you can pull an existing consumer out of the marketplace into your dashboard. You will go through your privacy consent statement. You have a show intake form piece right here. This is a new feature that we added for this OEP. The intake form, what it is, it's a form that you could send to the consumer prior to you to complete the application. They could enter certain information. It will not include social, be advised. However, it'll enter their name, date of birth, etc., address change if they have one, and you could always just copy and paste from that intake form. Okay, make it a little bit easier for you during that OEP process. Here that you agree and understand, and then guess what? We have the consent piece again. You could download the form, you could email it to the consumer, again, English or Spanish. You could text it to the consumer. It will give you a preview of the actual consent text that the consumer is going to receive. Again, English or Spanish. You could select from that consent library that we discussed earlier. You could upload it at the moment, and then there you go. You could actually do audio. And then you have stored consent outside of HealthSherpa. We don't recommend to store it outside of HealthSherpa. Again, it's your choice, just because right now everything is online. If anything happens to your computer, or if you are at your office and a consumer it's calling you and they need the consent or CMS it's requiring, you'll have that within your HealthSherpa account. You don't need to go into your computer, look through your files. It would stay there for you for those 10 years. Okay.
And this consent form is to protect you guys. The feds added this little wrinkle to the whole process a couple of years ago because there were thousands upon thousands of unauthorized enrollments. Clients had no idea where their applications were being created. There were a lot of bad actors out there. So they included this process, and at first it was very clunky, and we had a form to fill out, but now Sherpa has baked it into the system. So it doesn't really interrupt your workflow at all. It doesn't really add a lot of time to it. You can still get your enrollments done in a very quick manner, 15 minutes, something like that, even with the consent form. So you're very compliant, and you do need to be doing these consent forms. And I still get questions about it, but you do need to do the consent form.
Correct. And just so you are aware, if you decide to email it or text it, you could still continue with the application. You don't have to wait to the consumer to complete it on their end. You could continue. However, be advised that it will let you know whether they have completed it or not within their dashboard, and you need to go to the consumer and let them know, like, hey, I need this information. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to enter the information for the consumer who is applying. Social, super fun. Social is mandatory per CMS for anyone applying for coverage. If you have a consumer that is not applying for coverage, it's not mandatory, but it is very helpful for you to add their social on there. It makes it easier to verify the individual. Excuse me. Always add that social piece for the consumer. It will prevent a lot of headaches down the road. Once you enter that information, you're going to continue. We're going to enter an address. If you notice down at the bottom, it's going to say county. The reason it does this sometimes, it's because they are zip codes that are underlining with counties. Here in Miami, we have Miami-Dade County, and then we have Broward County, but sometimes they intertwine. They're right on the state line. I'm sorry, on the county line. So it will have you pick what county the consumer is choosing. If they have the same email address, mailing address, you select yes or no. Once you're done, you're going to continue. Email address is optional. It is optional. However, we do have a bulk email piece for OEP that you could always send an email to the consumer reminding them about OEP. You could send them the intake form. If we have their email on file, it's going to be a lot easier for you in the future to send that information to them. You would enter the phone number for the consumer, language written and spoken, and how they would like to receive information. If they want email or text message, you have to make sure you add that email piece again, and that the phone number they're providing you, it's accurate. So we're gonna go ahead and continue. And we're already syncing to the marketplace. If you have that intake form already pre-filled, all you have to do is just copy and paste, okay? Makes it very helpful. If they're looking for coverage, if they need to add another dependent or applicant, they could do so here, and it will be added to the application. Medicare eligibility, if they're married, if they're planning on filing taxes, and also if they have any claiming dependents or any tax dependents on there. Any relationship, primary applicant information, U.S. citizen. There are some that are optional, so you could just definitely skip. I'll say optional on that as well. Okay. If you're not sure, especially for this question right here, you could just hover over the little question mark and it will tell you what is the meaning of that question, or you could just explain it a little bit better to the consumer. It does let them know that they might pay more for their insurance, okay? So you're going to go ahead and continue. Income information, you're going to enter yes. Whether they have a job, self-employed, unemployed, alimony, however income they receive, you would enter that information there. And then the household income, yearly, hourly, monthly, however they want. Often it's very easy. Well, it's easier for you as an agent just to go through that yearly amount. Excuse me. Once you're done, you're going to hit save. If you need to add additional income source, you could do so. You could always edit or remove the one that you have already entered. Usually, if you have an SCP and the consumer is changing employment, you could definitely just remove it and add a new source. Deductions. If they don't know what type of deductions they have, again, you hover over it and it gives you a quick overview of those deductions. If they don't have any, you just click no, verify the income, and then you're continuing. If they need additional help, additional coverage, you're going to go ahead and continue. If they're currently enrolled in coverage, I'm going to continue with those questions. Employer sponsored, any upcoming changes. For SCPs right now, if you click on qualifying health coverage events, we actually give you a list of those SCPs. Okay, so you could always look at that before. If they recent changes, again, hover over it, click on the little question mark, and we try to provide you as much information as possible without having you to go into a different tab or go into healthcare.gov. This is coming directly from healthcare.gov. So you're going to enter the date. We are in April. I was definitely in the wrong year. I was going to put 30, 2030. Loss of coverage. Once you're done, you have the tax filing. Yes, they did it previously, and then you're going to continue. If you notice, on purpose, I added a date in the past. It'll tell you the system itself. All right. So always make sure you have the correct or accurate information from the consumer.
That's got to be a date in the future.
Hmm?
Huh.
Yeah, it has
What
to
if,
be.
what if their policy ended on March 1st?
So they have the 60 days. It would actually
Yeah.
let them know.
Okay.
The system will let them know to add that information in. Usually
Okay.
when it's already passed, they need to submit that document. Either way, they will still need to submit proof of loss of coverage for them to be able to start. And I don't know why it's taking so long. Our system usually when it's an SCP, there we go. And we're done with the application. You can actually print or save the application in PDF. The reason I point this out, it's because there are some consumers that will like to have a printed application or just want to have it in their records. You could definitely do that. It'll show you all the information for the consumer. If you notice, each section has an edit button, so you could always go back to that section if you do need to update it. Once you're done, you're going to hit continue. You're going to agree to the eligibilities, the tax attestation, and then you are going to sign and submit. Since it is an SCP and Harley Davidson, it's a fake person, it would give us a system error, but here more or less you understand what that process will look like. So you are going to get the eligibility results from CMS. Once you receive those eligibility results, it'll let you confirm the plan. Once you confirm the plan, you will see that in your consumer dashboard, in your client dashboard, you will be able to complete. Oh, there we go. It worked. Awesome. So you have your eligibility results. It's letting you know that they need to submit proof of loss of coverage and also citizenship. If you notice right here, it says enrollment blocked, and that it's because they need to submit that proof prior to being, prior to being affected. Here you download the eligibility letter, and then you can review plan. If you need to edit the application from this point right here where it says not ready to enroll, you could go back to edit that application. So we're going to go ahead and review the plan. We selected Oscar. It's telling you who is eligible. We have an MPN override piece here. MPN, it's not allowed in every state. MPN, it's not also allowed in certain carriers. I will be sharing some information and resources for you to look a little bit more into that. So in this purpose, we are going to select the agent. Here we have the collect enrollment piece. You can again store it, upload it, text it, or email it. Once you're done, you enroll in the plan. If the consumer says, hey, I changed my mind, I don't want that plan anymore, you're going to click where it says change plans, and you could go back to that quoting piece and keep searching for a plan that best fits the consumer, but you don't have to redo the application. You just select the plan. Once you're done, you click enroll in this plan. You are securing your information, getting it directly from the marketplace. And there you go. plan is confirmed. It's letting you know the payment date. With Oscar, you could definitely choose the provider if they already have one. And then it's also telling you what they still need to submit within that. Once you're done, you go to your dashboard and it will drop you off in Harley's 2026 application. Once you're here, it's going to sync to the marketplace. And there we have verify citizenship, verify proof of income. Once you verify, I'm sorry, not proof of income, loss of coverage. Once you verify loss of coverage, it will let you do that initial premium payment. Okay, you don't see it here now because they can't make a payment because they're not going to be active until they have that proof submitted. Okay. Once they're done, they click on verify. You could upload it for them and then they will continue. It'll show you who is the application, the plan information, again, the enrollments. I'll have that notification, providers, consent, etc. Any questions? Awesome. When you are looking for a consumer that is existing in the marketplace, right? Let's say you have a consumer that you did through Healthcare.gov, which is not allowed, but it happens. All you have to do is, let's pick a consumer from here. Let me just get the date of birth so I can show you what that will look like. When you're searching for a consumer that's already existing, you're going to click where it says search marketplace. You're going to enter the consumer's name.
This is really important, guys. If you're taking on a block of business or you're working another case.
Correct. If you have a consumer that calls
this is how you have to comply with these processes in order to make it legit. Again, there's some guardrails the government's put in place.
Let me see the actual location for Marie test. Another piece is that you could always search by social if the consumer wants to provide you that information. The name does have to be the same as they have on their system. Let's exit here, and it's from Arizona. So you're going to search marketplace, and there they are. If you notice, we have Marie test. This is the one recommended because it's the latest one, and it's going to say view and dashboard because we already have it in our dashboards. If you're working with a consumer that has an existing application in which you don't have in your dashboard, it's going to say add to clients, right? Once you add to clients, it's going to show up in your dashboard, okay? Sorry, it's taking a little bit longer than expected. Once you add to clients, this is going to populate into your dashboard right here. It's going to show you there was an AOR changed. Who was applying, right? Marie was the applicant. She was not applying, but John Lucky was. I'll show you all that information. It'll say who is the original agent, agent of record. I'll have all the plan details as well as the enrollment, pretty much all the rest of the information. If you need to work on the consumer, since this is a 2025 application, it's not going to let you to continue, but you could always requote. If it's a 2026 application, it's going to allow you to work on that application for an SCP.
Requote.
Requote, yeah.
Now, they don't necessarily have to choose a different plan.
Oh.
They would select the same plan in all likelihood if they're
Correct.
happy. So it's
If
not
they're
like,
happy, yeah.
and you can keep all the information the same, right? If need be.
Correct.
Okay.
And then here, you're going to see you're viewing a past application. So we do try to inform you as much as we can. Also, I'll tell you the last time it was synced to the marketplace. So before we end, I know we're a little bit almost at time. I just want to point out to your top right corner, you have a little question bubble, and then you have this little gear icon. If you click on the little gear icon or settings icon, you're going to go to account settings. This is primarily for the agents to know where they would do their FFM integration extension. You have emails that are client facing. You have your carriers. This is where you are going to come in and you're going to add the states in which you are licensed in, and also add those carriers where you are appointed. Once you are done choosing those appointments, then you're going to hit close. It will automatically save for you. And then you have your account logins as well. If you ever need to edit those login informations, you can. With that little
Guys,
question, yes,
if I could interject, Mel, call me. That's all you need to do. Call me when we get into the weeds with these carrier appointments and setting
yes,
up your Sherpa and all that kind of thing. Give me a call. We can work through it. Sherpa's got a fantastic support system, and you can call them as well. But just rest assured, you're not alone. You can do it with me or with Sherpa. You can get it set up.
definitely. Always connect with your agency first, just because it does get tricky, especially with those carrier appointments. Make sure you are appointed before you start selling. And then just quickly, you have this little question bubble. This is where you have our what's new. You have a getting started guide. You have our help center, has tons and tons of articles available for you. And then you have agent trainings. Agent trainings are all month long. Right now, we are focusing on SCPs. It'll show you where you could find information. You could always register for live sessions, or if you're busy, you don't have time, we do have recent pre-recorded trainings as well. Now, with that being said, I'll have some time left for any questions, concerns, any feedback that you'd like to provide. All ears.
Let's talk about bonuses. How do they work?
I'm sorry, you cut off.
Bonuses?
Bonuses.
Bonuses that
So,
you guys offer, or your EAP, or tell us about that.
of course. So we do have under your bonus tab, let me share my screen one more time. Let me know whenever you are able to see it. I know it's a bit laggy.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay, perfect. So we do have a
It's
bonus tab that
still
it's
not there
within.
yet. Still
No,
not
you're
there yet.
fine. Let me know that it's part of your actual platform. We have what it's called the Enrollee Assistance Program. The Enrollee
There.
Assistance Program is where you can enroll a consumer into a carrier in which you are not appointed with, and you get a one-time payment with HealthSherpa. During open enrollment, it's up to $150. It's $100 after a 45-day waiting period, and then it's $50 after the policy has been active for 6 months. Be advised that HealthSherpa will be the agent of record for that policy. If the following OEP, you become appointed with that carrier, you could definitely take that business with you. During SCP, it's up to $50 after a 45-day waiting period. We do offer help articles for that. If you do participate in that enrollee assistance program, we'll show you your payouts and also who is the application under, pending application, and the amount that it's getting paid. There are some carriers like Florida Blue Cross that only pay $25. You also have a Medicare referral piece. If you do Medicare and you just don't want to go through the AHIP and all that hassle, you could always refer that business to HealthSherpa. You could view and agree to the terms. Once you view and agree to the terms, you will receive a unique phone number to you as an agent that you could share with the consumer. The consumer will call that number, and if they do get to enroll in a plan, these are the payment breakdowns right here. And then we have broker bonus programs. These are exclusive broker bonuses that some carriers decide to do only through our platform during OEP. You will always receive notifications of any upcoming bonuses that are being done through a carrier. This is where you would find them. It'll tell you the name of the carrier, what the bonus looks like, and what is the state or counties that it's being activated in. Also, under actions, they'll have additional details. Again, you do have to be licensed and appointed and be licensed in that state with a non-resident license if it is a non-resident state. At the bottom, it's also going to show that earned bonus. Once you're done, you just scroll back up and you're good to go. Anything that you think I missed that you might want to go over a little bit more? Oh, also you have that feedback button. Very, very helpful. Again, any questions, concerns, do feel free to click on that feedback button. We really appreciate the feedback. It's what helps us do better.
Why don't you put that phone number up there again? We're almost out of time. It doesn't look like we have too many more comments and questions, but by all means, I'm here to help. You guys call me all the time. We do three-way calls all the time. They're fantastic in that respect. We get things done. You can have a client in the office. You can call me. I can do a three-way call with Sherpa. We can get this thing unraveled. Whatever process they're having an issue with, they get it done. So they are the best in breed when it comes to enrollments for the ACA.
Definitely. And always feel free to reach out to our agent support. We are definitely here to help, especially during open enrollment. We do extend our hours tremendously. We were on the phone till 5 a.m. the last day of OEP. So we are here. I was one of those at 5 a.m.
The last day. What were you working
Literally
in
the last
Guam
day.
or something like that? Oh my gosh.
It was an experience, I can tell you. A lot of brokers waited till the last day to be like, oh, I got to do a three-way with CMS. I'm like, well, it's 3 a.m. I don't think CMS is going to answer you at this point, but
Yeah.
At least we were there to show some support.
Thanks, Mel. Thanks, Mel. Thank you, everybody. We'll call it a day. Everybody have a fantastic morning and rest of the day. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy your week. Bye.